today we're talking Grail watches, specifically Zach's Grail watch pick and my Grail watch pick. Before we get started, we want to clarify a little bit of a thought process that some people bounce back and forth on. So Zach, I want to ask you, how about explain to us the difference between a Grail watch and a gold watch?
Well, to be honest, Rob, I think that my own opinion on that has evolved over my years of collecting. But at this point, well, originally, the Grail watch to me was a watch that was just, going to be incredibly hard to get. So due to financial reasons or availability or whatever else. So with that said, in my head, I was saying, oh, it's always going to be the most expensive watch on my list, right? But now, as I've kind of matured as a collector, there's one particular watch that is most certainly my Grail, and that is the watch that I think will be the end game for me, and I will be just, I can't imagine being happier over acquiring any other watch. But by no means is it the most expensive watch out of the ones on my list. So I think that, it has kind of evolved for me. But the main thing is, it does have to be something that you had to stretch a little to obtain. You got to look back and say, okay, I put some years of work into this to achieve this this milestone watch. If it's something that you're like, I'll get it in 6 months, I don't know that that's really a Grail watch.
Right. I think a lot of people label gold watches as Grail watches, and there's nothing wrong with having both. I think that the reality is most collectors have both, and I think that a gold watch should be, hey, I've got this event coming up in XYZ, whether it be an anniversary or it be a milestone at work, and so you want to work really hard, but it's for a shorter period of time possibly to get that gold watch. I agree. The Grail watch, if you get it super easy, if you could go out today and buy it, it may not be your end all, right? It may not be the one. So I definitely want to set the precedence early that there is a difference between a gold watch and a Grail watch, for sure.
So Rob, what is your Grail watch?
So I've given this a lot of thought, and I want all of them. That is my Grail watch. I want everyone out there. Okay, if I got to pick one, and it's tough because, like you said, it is not my most expensive watch that I would like to own, but I think it would be the one watch that checks off more of my list than any other watch. Okay, so there's probably 4 or 5 that I could consider Grail watches, but this one specifically speaks to something I would wear very often, if not every day, and something that really hits home to me personally that may not matter to everyone else. So mine is a Rolex reference number 126719BLRO, and that is the GMT-Master II on an oyster bracelet. It comes in a 40 millimeter. I like the white. Obviously, it's got the white gold 18 karat construction. It is a 70-hour power reserve. It's +2 or -2 a day, seconds a day. It's got the 100 meters of water resistant. But for me, it checks off several things on a list. Okay?
Meteorite dial.
Meteorite dial. Yes, definitely a meteorite dial. That is actually, I missed that in my notes there. So that we'll start with that. One thing that checks off is piece unique, right? That isn't going to be something that anyone else is going to have that exact same watch on. So for me, that's kind of cool. It's not the most important, but it becomes a you watch, right? It is your watch. So for me, it checks off the meteorite dial, meaning the piece unique, and it's just a great look. I love the look of that. It does give me the Pepsi that I really, really want. The Pepsi would definitely fall under a gold watch, I would say, but if I had this one, I just really wouldn't have a need for a Pepsi unless I was just trying to pass, it on to a son at some point. But for me, it speaks to the precious metal. It speaks to the meteorite. It speaks to the idea that it is precious metal, which that's cool, and I like that to the average person, it's going to look like a stainless steel watch. It's going to walk right past you and have no idea that it's 18 karat white gold.
Yep.
I also like that I love the story behind the color and the Pan Am and what it meant for the day and the night. And most everyone watching this is going to know that story. But I love the story behind that. But I also happen to live about 100 miles. We're sitting right now about 100 miles from New Bern, North Carolina, which is where Pepsi was first created. So for me, as a sign collector, obviously you see behind us we have a lot of signs, and I have a lot of soda signs. And so Pepsi coming from North Carolina is just an added bonus for me as a sign collector of soda signs. So that's just a positive. I love the size of it. I love the feel of it. I like heavy watches. It just is something about it. I like knowing it's still on my wrist. But I think the stealth side of it is a huge bonus. Zach, what do you think about that watch?
Well, the first thing I think is that I would be more than happy to sell it to you when we finally get it. But
Yes.
In addition to that, so I've been in a Rolex AD now for a little over 10 months. I have yet to see my first meteorite dial. Like they're fairly rare. So as somebody who likes to have something a little bit different, I think that's a really neat thing. And then the heft and the just sturdiness that you get from a Rolex in general, but really a precious metal one, it's an impressive weight. You don't feel like you're holding something that is dainty or fragile, anything like that. You have something that you can knock the heck out of and keep wearing. And I love that watch for you. I think it will be a really, really great addition to your collection when you finally make it happen.
I do too. I really think it'll be something that I get a lot of wear out of. I really do. So Zach, tell me your Grail watch.
Sure. So mine is the Patek Philippe 6006 G-001. And I just adore that watch. It was the very first Patek that I saw that I didn't feel like, oh, it's too small, or, oh, it's way beyond anything I could hope to afford. The watch runs, I want to say it was about $31,000 when it was new. Unfortunately, it was discontinued either 2019 or 2020, so I can't pick one up new anymore, but I adored that watch. We would make an annual trip to New York City. Well, we would make an annual trip up to the Pennsylvania, New York area. And then during that trip, I would get one day to actually go into the city and go watch shopping. And the highlight of my watch shopping experience every year was to go and look at the 6006G. I adored that watch. So 39 millimeter case, it has their 240 PS micro-rotor movement, which is just cool for me. I adore a micro-rotor. It doesn't completely obstruct your view of the movement, so you actually get to, have the automatic winding, but you still get to appreciate the movement itself. Solid white gold construction, had a deployant clasp. It was on a black strap. The dial's black. You've got this quirky sub-dial down at like 430, pointer date. I mean, it's a quirky watch. It's not what you think of when you think Patek Philippe. So I adore that watch for that reason. Unfortunately, I had my heart set on buying that watch new because I wanted my name to go into the archives. But my opportunities passed on that, but it's still a watch that when I think about, even though I'm no longer going to get to be the first owner, which was kind of important to me initially, that is the heart that pulls, or the watch that pulls at my heartstrings more than any other watch out there. So that by far is my Grail.
It is a beautiful watch. Let's face it, it's a beautiful watch. It happens to have one of my favorite configurations, and that's a pointer date. I love that in a movement and in a watch style. I think it looks classy. Obviously, Patek makes just phenomenal watches across the board. And I think when you look at the higher end as they are, they cover. They got the dress. They've got the middle range dress. They've got the sports. They really do it all. They are not a one-horse trick by no stretch, and I think they have really mastered the art of that, which is why they're in the placement that they are in everyone's eyes that is a watch enthusiast. So we would love to hear in the comments today, what is your watch Grail? Also throw in what is some of the gold watches that you have. And has that changed in life? Tell us a story if you're a little bit older as a collector. Was there something that was your Grail watch and you got it maybe a little too soon, and so then you kind of had to reset the goal and throw it out a little further to get another Grail watch? We would love for you to like, share, subscribe, comment. We love to see those, and we'll respond to them right away. We thank y'all for watching. Talk to you soon.